Tony D and Little Joan in the background, and this is kind of a Hollywoke hot take. I mean, there's so much Jimmy Kimmel news, I figured I'd put it in a separate video. So let's talk about it. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy Heart in South Jersey. It's the Pineys books 1 through 18, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. Okay, so I try to keep the politics off this channel. I move them to the other channels, the green site, the orange site, and the black site that I mention almost every day. Because, you know, YouTube, I don't trust YouTube. YouTube did flags me all the time. It flagged me yesterday on this big announcement. Oh, you know, we're sorry we went after people with conservative takes and you know, demonetized their channels and videos. And then that day I got demonetized and I had to edit out part of a video over something that they've never done before. They're constantly changing the rules, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's all my opinion, YouTube. So anyway, I don't normally put these on this YouTube, so take a chill pill if you don't want to hear my opinion. We're going to talk about Jimmy Kimmel. So Jimmy, he went on air, and he implied through a horrific joke that I don't even think you could call it a joke, but basically his monologue has become a, you know, angry screeds against Republicans, just like Colbert, and basically implied, oh, you know, everybody's trying to turn this assassin into a MAGA, you know, trying to hide that he was a MAGA guy. He's not a MAGA guy. That was pretty evident from the little evidence that came out. I mean, the moment they said he was writing trans stuff on the bullets and bullet casings, I mean, that was pretty clear indication. There's not a whole lot of trans people, and there's certainly not a whole lot of trans Trumpers. I'll say that. So, anyhow, it's pretty clear now. If you don't know that information, please go look it up. I don't have time to tell you everything. So, people got pretty upset. Charlie Kirk was literally just killed a few days prior. He shouldn't have said it. You know, people don't tune in to late night for some old man's political views. That's what YouTube is for, damn it. Well, now Rumble. But he did it anyway. And when Sinclair and Nexstar, two of their affiliates, they own ABC affiliates, refused to air his show because they were upset. Now, if you know anything about the communications business, and I know some of it, these people are businessmen. They don't like controversy. I'll give you an example. When I was doing my TV show in Philadelphia, the comic book show, we were trying to get it syndicated on a local Philly station. We ended up on the international channel, which was channel 62. We tried to get it on the bigger stations there, but they have, in Philadelphia, they have so much news. They're so incredibly conservative when it comes to their programming. It's all news. News about, and they always go through the same pattern, right? They start, oh, here's a local news thing. We'll cover local things. And then after about 3 or 4 weeks, they don't really get any good ratings. And then they say, well, you know, some celebrities in town, we should cover them. And then immediately their ratings go up, and then they turn into Hollywood Tonight. But that's another story. My point is, even in Philadelphia, which is a very, you know, hipstery kind of town, if you've ever been there, it's all news. It's all news and sports all day long on the damn affiliates. It's really tough to get any non-news show. So these people are, you know, they don't want to take a lot of risk. They don't like controversy. And by Jimmy doing this, they were endangering their entire business model, because they don't want people to tune out. Because when people tune out in television now, I mean, they could give up TV altogether, like I did. Like, I was fed up. I pulled the plug, baby. I don't have cable TV anymore. I have to watch everything on the internet, and so have a lot of people. Um, but when it comes to just watching regular TV, if you have all the channels like a lot of my friends do, there's plenty of other shows. There's plenty of other games in town, even now with late night TV. Everybody has a late night talk show, and if you don't like anything on the TV, you're paying all this money, you could always go to the internet, and hey, it might click in your brain that day, why am I paying all this money for TV? It's all on the internet anyway. So these people don't want a lot of controversy, I would say. And for him to even come close to making light of a horrific crime that occurred just because he doesn't like the politics of the guy is bad. Even just making any joke about it. And again, I don't think it was a joke. And you could say, well, it wasn't really about Charlie. And that's technically true. Plausible deniability. But yeah, I mean, people get very emotional and upset about these things. So what did Jimmy have to do? Well, he could just come out and say, you know what? I'm sorry. I crossed the line. I didn't mean to go that far. I was trying to make a joke. I understand why people are upset, and I apologize. I withdraw the joke. I shouldn't have done that. In fact, my information was wrong. That's something else he could have said, because the information is very clear now, and he probably had the right information. He just decided to do that. And he could have said that and just moved on with the show. It would have been like nothing happened. Instead, well, Jimmy Kimmel returns, trashes Trump, chokes up, saying it was never my intention to make light of Charlie Kirk's assassination. And yet, you put it in a comedy monologue. And there's always a risk in doing that. I mean, imagine if you would, you know, was the Tonight Show on in '63? I guess it was. Imagine if Johnny Carson came out and made jokes about the JFK assassination. He would have been kicked off television. You'd never know his name. So it was stupid. It was really stupid. And he had an opportunity to apologize. He doesn't want to apologize because I don't think he thought he did anything wrong. I think he has utter contempt for anybody that supports Trump. And a lot of that is he's getting internet. I mean, he's an internet guy. You can see it from his comedy. He's getting blasted on the internet all the time. My advice to him would be to never look at the comments on the internet. He's on television. Who cares what people on the internet say about your show? But, you know, he does, apparently. Jimmy Kimmel chokes up after returning from suspension. It was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. And yet, you put it on a late night show during your comedy monologue. No one wants to tune in to see a host cry, Jimmy, or have to apologize for making a joke about an assassination. Jimmy Kimmel, I appreciate those on the right who backed my rights, didn't intend to blame a group for the Kirk assassination. And yet you did. You completely did in your monologue. The implication was very clear anyway, in my opinion. So, look, you want to come out and say, F you people, I don't care what you think. That's your business. You want to do this half-ass apology. The internet is extremely unforgiving. Now imagine if he has to do a real apology now. Imagine how humiliating that will be, that he had to apologize twice to get it right. Charlie Kirk show producer rips Jimmy Kimmel's non-apology not good enough. Well, there you go right there. These are some of the people that need to acknowledge your apology, Jimmy. If he had just apologized, a guy like him would say, yeah, you know, I'm glad he apologized. If it was even a news story. I don't even think it would be a news story if he had just apologized. Because then he would have moved on and that would have been it. And again, I said this in my Hollywoke hot take video. I think yesterday or the day before. I would have read Jimmy the Riot Act back during the pandemic when he said, "Rest in peace, Wheezy." I would have brought him in the office and blasted him and said, "Hey, moron, you just alienated half the audience. Do not make fun of people just because they didn't get the vaccine, dummy. And if it happens again, that we'll institute the clause in your contract, and it's probably in his contract, behavioral clause." Now, ABC doesn't want to do that because it'll be very expensive, and then what do you do with the show? I mean, it's called Jimmy Kimmel Live. So, but it's not like the show is, in my opinion, making him money. I mean, he's got lower ratings than Colbert. The show, in my opinion, looks more expensive than Colbert. He tends to get better guests than Colbert. And we know that he's getting paid somewhere between $16 and $20 million a year. So it's likely with his staff, he's probably clocking in at least $100 million a year, just like Colbert's show. Probably more is my guess. The set is, I like the set on Jimmy Kimmel show. It's so big and open. But maybe not. Maybe it's somehow cheaper in California. Anyhow. Yeah. So these are the kinds of people you would want to hear. "Oh, that was good. He apologized. Not good enough." Yeah, that's sticking it to you, Jimmy. I mean, it could have been a simple apology. You could have just gone on and said, "You know what? I got caught up in my politics, and I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. My apologies. I withdraw everything I said, and you know what? I'm just gonna not talk about. Charlie Kirk was a good guy." I mean, he could say things like that, and he sort of tried to do it, but to me it was so weaselly. It comes off as insincere, even if he intended to be sincere, even if he's trying to thread this needle and be super honest, but he feels genuinely he didn't go after, because when you look at the words technically, yeah, he didn't make light of the assassination. He made light of the MAGA gang, because apparently he's under the impression people in MAGA control the news somehow, or that that it's a big conspiracy that he's not a Trumper, the assassin. He clearly is not a Trumper. And that, I think, was abundantly clear by the time he attempted to make that aborted joke. Jimmy Kimmel met the moment to his return with a little help from Robert De Niro, says Deadline. So these are the trades, which my theory has always been that Disney probably blows so much money on these trade, well, they're not magazines anymore, media outlets, that they wouldn't dare cross Disney. But, and you want to talk about the wrong tone? Robert De Niro, of all people, of all celebrities, you want to pull him out and make a joke about the FCC? If you were genuinely serious about your apology, as it was, you wouldn't have even done this. You wouldn't even have done this sketch. It's not edgy to anybody but your ever-shrinking audience, Jimmy. And keep in mind how small the audience is. The United States has a population of 350 million people. In the key demo, Jimmy gets 129,000. And I think his overall rating was, I think it was just over 1 million, if I'm remembering correctly. And most of that's old people. I know a lot of old people who still watch Jimmy because they're still in the pattern of watching those kinds of shows. And you've got Jimmy, you've got the other Jimmy, and you got Steven. And, and Greg Gutfeld. So there's a lot of competition there for an ever-shrinking audience for all of television, in my opinion. So if you were trying to win back people who, for instance, voted for Trump, maybe don't think he's the greatest guy in the world, but still consider themselves liberal. They're hanging on by their fingernails to the Democratic Party. Bring in Robert De Niro. Yeah, I don't think that was a great idea. I think that just created more division and strife. Robert De Niro is also extremely political. I think this was a message to, again, the same people who already love Jimmy, who already love the comment that, oh yeah, don't worry, we're still cool and edgy. You can't be cool and edgy when you're on one of the most expensive television shows in the United States, literally nightly. You just can't be cool. You're the establishment. That might be hard to hear for someone who's very, very liberal. Oh, establishment? Us? No, we're cool and edgy. No, you're the establishment. You have been for a long time. Culturally, certainly. Robert De Niro, I mean, and you bring him out to do his gangster shtick. Why even do it? Just why even do it? To make fun of Trump, to make fun of the FCC. Well, good job. The twos of people that saw that, I guess, are laughing and holding their sides. It just makes your apology even less sincere. Non-apology, I would call it. Corporate spin or culture war. Liberals' boycott of Disney over Kimmel's suspension ends. Well, that was short-lived. So you boycotted them, and now everybody's coming back, I guess. Here's all the people who said boycott. Not that many, really. We were talking about X. I'm sure it was bigger on Blue Sky. So now you're already all back? Okay. Keep paying that fee. Disney already upped the price, apparently. Next star, Sinclair, to keep Jimmy Kimmel live off air as productive discussions continue with Disney. Now, why don't you just move him to Disney Plus? Get it over with. And then only people who are interested in your kind of programming can pay for it, and the rest of us don't have to see it. I think that would be dumb, but you could. So, how long will Sinclair and Nextstar's Jimmy Kimmel blackouts last? Why Disney and ABC have the upper hand in these standoffs? Maybe. I mean, again, it's not unprecedented for an affiliate to black out certain shows and replace them if they don't like them, especially if it's not making them money. You got to think that some of these stations are in red districts, right? Some that are, you might have viewers, again, who watch Jimmy Kimmel, tolerated his wacky opinions and crying, and still watched. But now they've sort of reached the breaking point. So Sinclair and Nexstar might be looking at a real problem with their ratings. They can't sell ads with no ratings. It already might be a struggle. At least if Jimmy had apologized like a real apology, heartfelt, genuine, like a man, this could all blow over. And at the very least, they said, well, he apologized. He apologized. And not for nothing, certain other people didn't get a chance to apologize. But meanwhile, Rep. Dan Crenshaw accused, not again, I hate when that happens, accuses Kimmel of gaslighting, doesn't see First Amendment violation. Get it? He doesn't see first. They don't have a picture of him? It was in the video. See, he's got one eye. See, he doesn't see the First Amendment violation. But yeah, Pirate McCain, nobody on the right really considers him, in my opinion, a valid source anymore for anything. He's just one of the leftover neocons, really. So if you're looking at him to gauge the reaction on the right, he's the wrong guy to look at. If anything, he's just agitating. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos make rare political statement after Jimmy Kimmel's ABC return. So they basically said they like Jimmy and they support him. Again, they're on the same network, right? Yeah, I think so. Who cares? Again, who cares what you think? Talking heads in the morning on television? Who cares? I wish these people would stop getting political. I wish they could see it. I wish they could see the damage it does to their show and their image. Just stop doing it. Just stop doing it. In a couple of weeks, everybody will forget you said anything political and you can just move on. But okay. Jimmy Kimmel rose to the occasion, says Variety, in his late night return, reminding us why we have to speak out against tyranny. It's a late night comedy circus. Variety. Calm the F down. Okay? He's a millionaire. Jimmy Kimmel's worth is quite high. So, yeah, I don't think he's being tyrannized. I don't think between his limo and his personal assistants and his mansion and yeah, I think he spent that 5 days in like the lap of luxury. The lap of luxury. I mean, they paid the entire crew for those 5 days off. They paid everybody. That's how much money is involved. They've just got piles and piles of money. So, calm down. Media's response to Jimmy Kimmel, Disney, highlight the double standard in America. Yeah, it's a huge double standard. So, yeah, this is an opinion piece at Pirate and Princesses. They cover a lot of Disney stuff. And you might say, well, what double standard? What the hell are you talking about? Oh, remember this woman, Roseanne? She was fired from her own TV show, which was called Roseanne. And it was about Roseanne. So, yeah, she's been erased. And they insanely decided to continue the show without her. And why couldn't she be forgiven? She apologized. She claims not to have known that the woman was black, but I don't think she meant it that way anyway. She might have just forgot or didn't know. I don't know. But yeah, why does Jimmy get forgiven after less than a week, and Gina Carano has to sue Disney for years to get her due? Has to get Elon Musk to front the lawyers in order to sue to get Disney to cave. Roseanne Barr just got kicked off. You know who could have gotten kicked off the air too? Jimmy Kimmel. Probably would have been the smart move for Disney monetarily. Jimmy Kimmel cries censorship over Trump while ignoring Biden real pressure on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, and he's back on the air. I mean, that's a big difference. Okay, there was a little bump in the road. Sorry, millionaire. Everybody kept their job. Everybody got paid. You're still a millionaire. You didn't go to jail. Nothing like that happened. Again, plausible deniability. The Trump admin didn't really do anything. They just made a lot of comments. And you could say, well, that's intimidation. They're allowed to say things. So, the question is, did it lead to anything? I don't think the Trump admin intended to do anything other than poke the bear, as they often do. They do this all the time. Trump just did it to Russia. He said, you know what? I think Ukraine can win this war. Ugh. So this is a tactic. It's called the madman strategy. You don't know what he's going to do day to day. And so eventually you just go, oh, God, it's Trump. I better just do what he says. So we'll see what ABC does. They're losing money anyway, in my opinion. I mean, between the parks, every other day I read, watch Hollywoke Hot Take. Every day there's another problem at the park, it seems. And that's where they make a boatload of their money. Who in the Midwest? What church-going family in the Midwest is going to hit Disney World now? Now you have the alternative. You can go to Universal. It's pretty awesome, I hear. Plus it's got Harry Potter Land and a bunch of rides like that. Disney's old hat. They're scrambling to refurbish everything, but at the same time they had vintage rides that they tore down. So Jimmy can't, again, he can't, as a talk show host, thread the needle on this issue because he's had nothing but Democratic guests. I think he had one Republican on the show. He's partisan. He's a Democrat. Colbert, Democrat. They don't care that everybody knows. Okay. Then put the DNC logo in the corner of the screen every time you do your damn show and say, hi, I'm Jimmy Kimmel. I'm a Democrat in tonight's show. Because you're not fooling anybody to think that, oh, I didn't really mean to smear people on the right or people who are unvaccinated. Rest in peace, Wheezy. Jimmy Kimmel's return breaks his YouTube record most watched monologue ever. Yeah, I wonder why. Oh, right. Wasn't because of the comedy. J.D. Vance suggests that FCC's chairman's warning to ABC stations over Jimmy Kimmel was merely a joke. Yeah, he could say that, but I don't believe him. It was a tactic. And it's perfectly legal unless you got the votes to say it's not. More than 100 former ABC News employees call on Disney CEO Bob Iger to make clear network will not be silenced or intimidated by political pressure. Good luck with that, Iger. You absolute tool. I've never seen a guy steer a ship like Disney like this. I mean, again, he should have fired Jimmy. If I was Iger, I'd have fired Jimmy. I'd have fired Jimmy after the COVID thing. Rest in peace, Wheezy. Out the door. I would have announced we have a zero tolerance policy of alienating our audience. I think that was the last of anybody who wasn't a total Democrat watching his show anyway back then. So again, I mean, nothing of value is really being lost here in terms of his audience. But what is his audience? This show, I can't imagine it makes money. Why can't you replace this guy? Why? Seems like he violates the rules all the time. Your own rules. I mean, what the hell's in his contract? And finally, Trump rages at Jimmy Kimmel as ABC and Late Night Show returns. A true bunch of losers. Last time I went after ABC, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. Yeah, I don't think he's going to sue ABC over this. Could probably sue him over some other stuff Jimmy said, but again, maybe Jimmy just shouldn't do jokes or shouldn't call himself a comedy show. How about that? How about say, yeah, it's Late Night with Jimmy Kimmel where we talk about serious stuff, I guess. Guess you could do it that way. I don't know. I don't see how this is helping anybody. I don't see how it helps the audience. But I will say that it's probably not driven by Jimmy. I don't think it is. I don't think it's driven by Jimmy or Stephen Colbert or anybody but the producers and the studio. I think they make the calls on this kind of thing. So if they say step on the gas and let's hear some more Trump jokes, yeah, I think they'll do it. Why wouldn't they? And if they say back off, it's too much, I think he'd back off because he likes to be paid $16 to $20 million a year and he likes his giant mansion. Who wouldn't? So, yeah. So I don't think he made a real apology. And the worst possible scenario for him would be they'd force him back on the air to do another apology. And in which case, I mean, at that point, just turn in your man card. Because at that point, God, that would be embarrassing. But I'm glad I'm not him. I mean, yeah, I'm poor, but I don't like apologizing, number one. And number two, I just don't think, what will his legacy be? A lot of comedians, they have a legacy. Like Richard Pryor has a legacy, right? One of the funniest guys who walked the earth, did a bunch of outrageous stuff, had a crazy life. George Carlin, very thoughtful, a lot of people think, and funny, doing stand-up all the way to the end. A lot of comedians have this rep. What will Jimmy's rep be? What when he finally leaves ABC, will anybody care? I kind of think not. I mean, he's like probably going to be the last host of whatever late night talk show is on ABC. Same thing with Colbert. Same thing, you know. They already said Colbert. They're stopping his show and not bringing it back. They're not replacing him. They're ending the show. So, yeah, television is changing, and what a way to go out, in my opinion. Anyhow, that's it from me, Tony D, and Little Joan. Check us out on the green site, the black site, and the orange site for the other videos. I try not to get too political here, but I had no other good trailers today. See you in the next one.